Before we dive into today's wild Karen drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next meltdown, the next instant karma, or the next viral moment we uncover. This is Karen Chaos 2.0, and things are about to get crazy. It was supposed to be the happiest day of summer. A neighborhood block party had finally been approved after weeks of planning. Music, food stalls, kids' games, and laughter filling the air. People were setting up tents, grills smoked with the smell of burgers, and a DJ booth was being tested with upbeat tunes. The community was buzzing with excitement, but in the middle of all this joy, one shadow lurked. And her name was Karen. Now, if you've ever been to a fun gathering, you probably know the type. Karen was the neighbor who believed rules were made to serve her. Loud music? Too much. Kids playing? A disturbance? People parking on her street, even if it was public? Absolutely unacceptable. From the moment she stepped out of her house that day, arms crossed, sunglasses perched high on her nose, everyone felt the tension. She looked around like a general preparing for battle. And when she saw the DJ testing his speakers, her eyes narrowed like she'd just spotted her mortal enemy. "Turn it down!" she barked across the street. The DJ laughed, thinking she was joking. But no, Karen marched forward, waving her phone. "I'm calling the police. This is illegal. You people don't have a permit." Except the neighborhood committee had everything approved. The permit hung proudly on the main table. Still, Karen wasn't one to let reality get in the way of her crusade. She strutted up, pulling at cords, and even tried to unplug the speaker. The crowd gasped. Kids stopped mid-game. Adults exchanged uneasy looks. Would she actually ruin the entire block party before it even began? But here's where the story takes a twist. Instead of people panicking, someone started filming. A teenager across the street raised their phone, zoomed in, and whispered, "This is going viral." Karen had no idea her every dramatic gesture, her exaggerated hand flailing, her squinting glare, her pointing finger, was being caught on camera. What started as an attempt to shut everyone down was about to backfire spectacularly. Because little did Karen know, by sunset, she wouldn't be the villain of the party. She would be something much bigger. A meme. The kind of meme that spreads faster than wildfire, turning annoyance into comedy. The crowd didn't realize it yet, but Karen was about to give them entertainment no DJ could match. And as the first clip hit social media, her reign of control was about to collapse in the most hilarious way possible. And that was just the beginning. Want to see how Karen's meltdown spirals out of control? Don't forget to hit subscribe and stick around. Karen stood tall in the middle of the street, hands on hips, demanding silence. The DJ had paused the music for a moment, partly out of shock, and partly to keep the situation from escalating. But the crowd! They were already buzzing, not out of fear, but with curiosity. Phones were up, cameras pointed. Kids on bikes circled closer, giggling under their breath. "Delete those videos right now," Karen shouted, lunging toward the teenager who had been filming first. But the kid darted back, laughing while others hit record. Dozens of angles captured her stomping in frustration, looking less like a defender of peace and more like a cartoon character losing her cool. One dad muttered, "This is better than Netflix," earning a chuckle from the people around him. Karen, however, didn't find it amusing. She waved her phone again. "I'm calling the police. You're all in violation of something." The committee chair, a calm woman named Linda, stepped forward, holding up the official permit. "Karen, we have approval from the city. The event is perfectly legal. Maybe you should just relax and join us." But Karen didn't want relaxation. She wanted control, and seeing everyone smirking only fueled her anger. Unfortunately for her, that anger made for fantastic footage. The teenager's clip had already been uploaded, with the caption, "Local Karen tries to stop block party. Instantly regrets it." Within minutes, likes and shares spread like wildfire. People in other neighborhoods were commenting, laughing, and tagging their friends. The video caught Karen mid-yell, her sunglasses sliding down her nose, finger jabbing the air like she was directing traffic in a storm. Back at the party, whispers spread. "She's trending already!" Someone shouted, holding up their phone. Karen spun around. "Trending? What do you mean, trending?" The DJ, seeing an opportunity, switched the music back on, this time blasting a remixed beat that matched the rhythm of her stomps. The crowd roared with laughter. Suddenly, it wasn't a neighborhood party anymore. It was a comedy show, with Karen unwillingly cast as the main act. Every time she tried to argue, a new phone camera popped up. Every glare, every stomp, every exaggerated complaint only added fuel to the fire. What Karen thought was her weapon, threatening to call the police, was now powerless. The real power was in the hands of dozens of people live-streaming her meltdown. By the time the first police car arrived, not to break up the party, but because Karen had actually called them, the officers stepped out to a crowd laughing, music blasting, and cameras flashing. Karen, red-faced and furious, pointed dramatically at the DJ. "Arrest him!" But instead of compliance, the officer looked around, sighed, and said, "Ma'am, this is a permit-approved party. Maybe you should just enjoy it." The crowd erupted in cheers. And Karen? She had just lost the battle, but the war to save her dignity had only begun. By the time the sun began to dip behind the rooftops, the block party was in full swing again. Kids were running with painted faces, burgers sizzled on grills, and laughter filled the air. But in the middle of all that joy, Karen sat on her porch, arms crossed, fuming like a storm cloud. She thought she had made her point. She thought calling the police would prove she was in charge. But instead, her dramatic finger-pointing, her shouting, and her stomping had become the party's biggest highlight, captured from every possible angle. And the internet? Oh, the internet wasted no time. The first video hit 50,000 views in under an hour. It wasn't just people in the neighborhood watching anymore. It was strangers across the country. Someone looped her yelling, syncing it with the beat of the DJ's music. Another slowed down her angry stomp and added dramatic sound effects, turning her tantrum into a movie trailer. Presenting Karen versus the Block Party, rated E for everyone. The crowd at the actual party couldn't believe it. Teens huddled around their phones, laughing at the edits as they poured in. Parents shook their heads in disbelief, half amused, half embarrassed for her. By the time Karen stormed back out, demanding everyone delete those illegal videos, she was already trending on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. The hashtag #YouBlockPartyKaren was climbing fast. Someone shouted, "Karen, you're famous!" Her face twisted in horror. "This isn't fame, it's harassment," she snapped, stomping again, only to hear the DJ instantly remix her stomp into the music like a drumbeat. The crowd howled with laughter. The police officers who had arrived earlier tried to calm her down, but even they couldn't hide their smirks. One officer muttered under his breath, "This is going to be all over the internet." He wasn't wrong. As night fell, the block party turned into something much bigger. People weren't just celebrating summer anymore. They were celebrating the birth of a meme. Neighbors posed for photos pretending to point like Karen. Kids imitated her stomps, and the DJ even dedicated a Karen remix track that had everyone dancing in unison. Meanwhile, on social media, her image was everywhere. Screenshots of her wagging finger were captioned with phrases like, "When the Wi-Fi goes down for 2 minutes," "Teachers when you ask to go to the bathroom." Karen versus Fun, Round 1. What Karen had tried to destroy had now turned into a source of endless entertainment. And the cruel twist? She didn't even realize how big it had gotten yet. By morning, her face wouldn't just be a neighborhood joke. It would be a nationwide meme. The meme is spreading faster than Karen can handle. And it's only getting better. Tap subscribe now to keep watching the chaos unfold. Morning sunlight streamed across the neighborhood, warm and peaceful, except inside Karen's house. Her phone buzzed relentlessly on the kitchen counter. Notifications, texts, calls. She picked it up, squinting at the screen, and nearly dropped it. Her face, everywhere. The videos weren't just viral, they had exploded. Memes of her wagging finger, her sunglasses slipping down, and her stomp set to remixed beats had already hit 1 million views. News outlets were covering it. Even late-night comedians had picked it up as the summer's funniest meltdown. Karen scrolled in disbelief. "No, no, no. This isn't happening," she muttered. But it was. Neighbors who once tolerated her were now laughing openly. Someone taped a printout of one meme to her mailbox, her pointing dramatically with the caption, "The fun ends when I say so." Another neighbor mowed their lawn while blasting the viral Karen remix track, smirking when she peeked through the blinds. At the grocery store, whispers followed her. "That's her! The block party Karen!" A group of teens passed by, stomping in unison, imitating her viral tantrum. She turned red, snapping, "Stop it this instant!" But of course, someone recorded that too. Every attempt to defend herself only made things worse. Karen even wrote a long Facebook post claiming she was protecting the community from noise pollution and chaos. Within minutes, it was flooded with laughing emojis, GIFs and memes replying, "Okay, block party Karen." Her reputation was slipping through her fingers, and the more she fought, the deeper she sank. Meanwhile, the neighborhood committee reveled in unexpected fame. The DJ uploaded the official Karen remix to YouTube, where it hit hundreds of thousands of views in days. The block party, once just a local gathering, was now legendary. People from other towns even asked if they could come to the next one, hoping to witness Karen live. And Karen? She tried hiding. She avoided stores, ignored knocks at her door, and even wore hats and scarves to disguise herself. But the internet is relentless. Screenshots kept resurfacing, captions kept multiplying, and her every attempt to silence the joke only gave it more fuel. She thought she could ruin one summer afternoon. Instead, she had accidentally given the entire country something to laugh about. But the story wasn't finished yet. Because just when Karen thought things couldn't possibly get any worse, fate had one last twist waiting for her. The kind of twist that would seal her place in internet history forever. Not just as block party Karen, but as the meme nobody would ever forget. Karen's world is crumbling, but the final twist will shock you. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch the epic finale. Karen thought hiding indoors would make the storm pass. She pulled her curtains shut, muted her phone, and avoided every social interaction. But the internet has a way of keeping things alive, and soon her silence only made her more mysterious. The block party Karen hashtag didn't just fade, it grew. Memes spread to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok challenges. People all over the country were stomping like Karen, pointing dramatically at nothing, and shouting mock complaints. Even celebrities jumped in, sharing videos with captions like, "Channeling my inner Karen when Starbucks runs out of oat milk." For once, the entire online world seemed united, in laughter. The tipping point came 2 weeks later. The local news invited the neighborhood committee and DJ to talk about the block party that turned into an internet sensation. To everyone's shock, the segment cut to Karen's now infamous clip, set against the remix track. The studio audience howled. Karen, watching from home, groaned. But the more she resisted, the clearer it became. There was no escaping it. She had gone from anonymous neighbor to meme legend. Then, the twist no one expected happened. A popular late-night host reached out. Not to the committee, not to the DJ, but to Karen. They invited her for a live interview, half serious, half comedy, to talk about her accidental fame. At first, she refused. The thought of being laughed at terrified her. But then she realized maybe she could spin this into something else. And so, under the bright studio lights, Karen walked out to thunderous applause. Clips of her stomp and finger-pointing flashed on the screen behind her as the crowd erupted in laughter. She cringed at first, but then, with a deep breath, she smiled. "Yeah," she said into the microphone, "I guess I overreacted a little." The audience roared. That small moment of self-awareness flipped everything. Overnight, Karen went from villain to internet icon. Memes kept spreading, but now she was in on the joke. She even leaned into it, selling T-shirts with her own face and the phrase, "Karen says no fun." Ironically, the shirts sold out. The neighborhood never forgot that day. What was supposed to be just a summer block party had become something much bigger, a story people would tell for years. And Karen? She learned a lesson the hard way, that trying to control joy only backfires. Because fun has a way of winning, and sometimes, when you least expect it, your worst moment can turn into everyone else's favorite memory. She came to the block party next year, too, this time not as the villain, but as the guest of honor, with her own dance remix blasting as she laughed along with the crowd. Karen had tried to ruin the fun, but instead, she became the fun. And that's how Karen tried to ruin the fun, but ended up a meme instead. If you had a laugh, smash that like button. Drop a comment and don't forget to subscribe to Karen Chaos 2.0 for more videos like this.